shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Welcome to the Muscle, Mind, and Money Podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Dominic.
And this is Nastasia. Now on to the show. We are back and better than ever, everybody. Welcome to the Muscle, Mind, and Money Podcast. This is weird because you hear Nastasia and not Dominic first. So I am flying solo today on episode, I don't even know what, but we're here with my sister. So everybody welcome Alexia. Hello. Hello. This is for sure going to be my favorite podcast ever because we are going to chat with you guys about Alexia and her journey in becoming a small business owner of her dance studio named Aspire Dance Studio. So I'm wearing my Aspire shirt today, and she is as well. This is probably your proudest accomplishment, wouldn't you say?
Yes, for sure. 100%.
100%.
Yep.
So Alexia's owned Aspire Dance Studio for how many years will it be in June? June, right?
7 years.
7 years in June. And
Yep.
we're going to go back to like not even day one. So I'm sure a lot of your Aspire family is going to be watching this. We're going to go like pre-day one to our kitchen table in Aurora, Colorado, when Alexia came to our family. I remember it was a family dinner. I can tell you where I was sitting and where you were sitting. We were eating steak and Greek salad. And you were like, I'm going to open a studio. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? So it's been Alexia's like lifelong dream to open a studio. But I want to talk about why you decided at that time to take your own journey and do this thing on your own, because you didn't go to school for this. I'm the one with the business degree. You were a freaking teacher, right? You were a teacher, no business background, but a dancer since age.
Mom said 4. I was 4 when she put me in dance.
Dancer since age 4, totally passionate about this, and we're sitting at the table and Alexa's like, I'm going to open a studio. So let's talk. How did you land there?
Ironically, during this COVID-19 time, with all the extra time we've had, I actually went back to some old journals and started reading them like last week. And I found a journal entry, I would say about a year before. It was about a year before opening the studio, and the journal entry was like, something in the back of my mind keeps telling me to open a dance studio.
Okay, so it's a dream, and you've wanted to do this, and it's been in your head, and clearly you couldn't shake the passion of not dancing. But the real story around when you were like, screw it, I'm going to do it, was actually when you experienced politics in the workplace for one of the first times, and you got turned down for a job. So getting turned down for that, what was that?
I think, to be honest, I'm a big hippie, a spiritual person, a big hippie. I'm definitely a believer in everything happens for a reason. I'm the type of person that if I'm comfortable in a situation and happy, I will stay there forever. So I think it was honestly my bigger calling, kind of kicking the booty to go, it's time, it's now or never.
Yeah, but
and having it in the back of my head for so long, you know, it was like, you know, like, what do you have to lose? Let's do it. We're going to do this. And I know it's going to be really great. And I remember our mom, Dad was like, I don't know. Are you sure? And it's kind of funny because he's the one that's usually like, yeah, just go for it. Yeah. And Mom kept saying, I believe in you 100%. It's going to be great. You're going to do it. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
So what happened?
It was just, it really was like it was kind of divine timing, and everything kind of just perfectly worked out.
I feel like you took that rejection and that adversity and flipped it, and it finally pushed you over the edge. Like you were always like on the edge of the mountain, like I want to do it but I can't, and I'm scared and I don't know how, and I've never done it. And this was like, okay, I'm gonna freaking show you. I'm gonna just go do it on my own if you don't want me to do it for you. So listening today, like I feel like in the current situation of what's going on, and how many people have lost their jobs in America now? I don't even know what the number is. Like millions of people around the globe, maybe billions, are unemployed. And a lot of the people are working for an employer that have let them go because either the business doesn't have money or the business is going to not be there anymore. And that security blanket of having that consistent paycheck and working for somebody else is now pulled out from underneath them. And when it happened to you, it like lit some FU fire, and you were I'm
gonna tell you something though. I think my experiences of leaving teaching and it getting to the point of like I really just can't. I'm not doing good for these kids anymore. But I didn't have a plan when they left. It just was like I can't do this anymore. Leaving that and having that experience, and everything turned out okay. Then making the decision to leave makeup and go 100% to dance was also really risky, to be honest, because in all those situations, anything can change at any minute, truly. I think it was like having the confidence knowing like, well, it's been okay a few times before.
Yes.
And knowing I'm just going to take things under my control and go put in the work that I've put in before when transitioning to a new career, to a new situation, and then just going for it.
Yeah.
It was like so exciting, and so I think I was just so ready, and it was so exciting, and it was like almost like being released and go, okay, you're free now. You're free to do what's next.
Yeah, and to do it your way. And after all that experience of basically making all these other programs so successful for somebody else, you were like, okay, now I'm going to make it successful for myself and for the kids that I get to teach. So we're sitting at the dinner table, and that's when Alexia's like, I'm going for it. And me and my dad were like, whoa. Like, you don't have business idea. So I remember,
no idea.
Was Dominic... No, not in the... Was Dominic at the table? I feel like we were all at the table together. Anyway, I remember saying to you, okay, so like, what's the plan? Like, where's the money coming from? And what's it? And you were like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out.
I don't know. I didn't know anything. You were like, what's your business plan? I'm like, what's a business plan?
I don't know.
How do you write a business plan? I don't know what that is. I'm not going to say that that's like the greatest way to go, but it was like, I'm not going to let it hold me back, not knowing where the money is coming from, not knowing where the place is going to be, not knowing, I mean, I knew some people that were going to teach for me, but I didn't know like everybody.
Yeah.
Not knowing anything of what I'm doing. But I think I've been in I had been in those situations enough in the past to go, well, I figured it out. So I'll figure it out again, and I'll just do it. Like maybe I'll be knocking my head against the wall a lot of times. But that's kind of, it was just, I was so excited and so ready to do it that I was going to do whatever I needed to do to make it happen.
So this is like a really good story in maybe not so much logic, maybe not so much planning and preparing, but there's like an undeniable and unwavering passion around what you're doing, that's kind of, I think, taken you through the crappy times. So I remember, not crappy times, the challenges of running any business, right?
Lot of it.
When you opened the store, I remember you were like, okay, I got the sign for the building. And it was like, how much? $5,000 or $10,000? That big
the
sign
was like $3,400, yeah.
$3,000-4,000, and then you had to get some stuff for the windows, and I was like, oh my god. out of the money that mom and dad gave you, you had to spend like $5,000 just on the sign.
Yeah.
And you were like, I know this is crazy. So like you've learned a lot throughout the process. Is running a business what you thought it would be? So when you said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start a studio and this is my passion and I'm creative and I'm an artist and I'm going to go for this. Like now 7 years in and through what you've experienced is like, is this what you expected? Or like, what's the curveball that you weren't expecting in
Oh,
running a business?
okay. The running the business part, for better or worse, was secondary in the vision to the artistic vision of the business
Mm-hmm.
and the educational vision of the business. Because what's my background? Education
Yeah.
and dance artistry.
Mm-hmm.
So those were what was most important to me. Running the business, I don't know what I thought. I thought it would just run itself. I don't know, or that it would just like be fine. I'm gonna be honest. My mentor Julie, who hopefully will listen to this, who owned one of the most successful dance studios in Colorado. So she was my mentor in starting everything, and she comes from, I guess, a hippie spiritual place too. And she was like, as long as you keep your vision, as long as you have your long-term vision, as long as you know what your studio is about, as long as you know what your purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
always go back to your purpose. And then I remember her telling me, we didn't know where our money was going to come from. We didn't know any of the logistics. We never ran a business before. She's like, you'll figure that stuff out. If you need help, just let me know. So I'd call her up and I'd go, can you send me your registration paperwork so I can figure out how to make a registration packet? Can you send me your policies so I can figure out how to make a policies packet? Can you tell me what competitions you guys like to go to so we can figure out what the good competitions are? Where do you order your costumes from?
It's like endless.
Running the business for me, especially the first few years, was reaching out to anyone and everyone I knew that ran a similar business.
Okay,
so the more I'm in this business, the more I learn it's very different than other businesses. So it's kind of very specific to itself. Like some things do apply, but a lot of things, really the best way that I've learned to run it is communing with other people who own dance studios. And the ups and downs of it, there have been many, many ups and downs. The ups are so amazing, and being with the kids and having the opportunity to teach them and watch them grow, and having a place where I can have my artistic vision and create my own things the way I want to, and then also give opportunity to some really amazing teachers and staff to be in that kind of positive space and create in their own way as well, and have that opportunity with the kids. Like that's what carries me through the hard times. There have been a lot of hard times and a lot of ups and downs and a lot of trial and error and just learning by trying things out.
Along the way. You said two things really quick. I want to go back on that. I want to make sure everybody really listens to this. So I'm on the other side of the kind of business world in my experience. I guess ours was both from a creative standpoint. Mine was fitness, yours is dance. But then I worked for big organizations, 2 large organizations, much more of a corporate structure. And you're running your own business in your own small corporate structure. But Alexia said 2 things on anybody looking to run a business or continue their career. It's 2 huge things. And it's funny because people with degrees and people with a ton of experience forget these 2 things a lot, mostly because of ego. So number 1 is that you said you had your vision, and Julie was like, never lose sight of your vision. You have it like painted literally on your wall. It's what centers you, the kids, the teachers. I feel like it's, and what is that vision? To nourish?
To nourish and feed the soul, body, and mind through dance. And it's always what drives everything.
Yeah. And like, that's what brings them together. That's what they talk about. It's on the top of every studio. It's like what the whole purpose is. So no matter what happens with money or kids joining or kids dropping or toilets flooding or signs going out or floors getting moldy or whatever, rats running around, like no matter what happens, it's like, weren't there rats in a studio? Okay, maybe I just made that. Okay, there were never rats. Aspire Dance Studio, don't worry, there were never rats. I just made that up. So that vision, spiders, okay. So like that vision is important, and that's something that wasn't, I mean, I guess Julie taught it to you, but not something that you learned from a book or a course that you've done incredibly well. And the second is to collaborate. So it's like, you can't be afraid to ask for help when you don't know what you're doing. And you have to remember, everybody started somewhere. So I always say to Alexia, go find the best ran studio, go find the best ran Instagram, go find the best ran whatever dance company, go see what they're doing and go ask them for help. Like, call them, ask questions. And you've done that so well. Like, there's no shame in your game. If you don't know what money system to use, you just call and say, hey. And you know what? Here's the best thing about collaboration. Somebody before you has wasted money screwing it up, and they know how to not screw it up and how to not waste money. So by you just asking the questions, I feel like that helped accelerate you so much faster and help you stay in business, because a large percentage of businesses close within the first 5 years. I think the stat is like 80% of small businesses close within the first 5 years, but you like forewent making some of the mistakes that you probably would have made just by asking questions and collaborating. So those are things that I really want to maybe re-emphasize on what you're talking about around vision and collaboration to create your success. And you know what? You were smart enough to have those two things, and smart enough not to let your ego not, hold you back from asking for help and asking for ideas throughout all of these years. And I'm sure now you're paying that forward to young studio owners if they were to call you. But the hard times. So this, I can't remember exactly what year it was, and many people don't know this, but there was a point in time that you like literally slept in your car outside the studio. So what was that story?
Inside the studio with the air mattress. The first few years of owning a business, and I remember as I was signing my lease with my landlord, they were like, you have a couple of years worth of savings to live off of, right? And I was no, what are you talking about? We're going to do great. I'm going to have 500 students sign up tomorrow.
Today.
Okay. Well, that didn't happen. So it literally started with 35 students the first fall, and I believe we had like 50 by spring for our first recital. So let's just say that barely paid the rent and the teachers and the staff, and money to pay myself did not really come in for quite a while.
How long would you say? Like, when did you draw your first like real paycheck?
Halfway through year 3.
Holy you guys, that's the reality of the situation. And
it was like I was determined. I knew it was going to
work,
get there.
Yeah.
Because again, I believe in the bigger vision, and there's a reason for us to be here. And doing what I needed to do, it was like.
So did you not pay rent? How did you end up sleeping in the car?
I lived with roommates for the first 2 years, and then we had a weird moldy bathroom situation. In which then we were like, you know what, we're not staying here, so we cut our lease a little early. And there were a few months over the summer, graciously, there was a dance family who let me stay with them for a little while. And then there was a few months while I found new roommates to live with, but they weren't able to move in till the end of the summer.
That's right. Yeah.
So over the summer, I didn't have enough money to go get an apartment by myself.
Yeah. So you guys, these are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. Like, I feel like it's so easy to look at you where you are now. You're in a larger studio. You've expanded. You have like 160 kids. You're running I say the best and most successful company. Like they win every freaking competition. And it's so easy to look at you now and be like, oh yeah, she owns a dance studio. It's so fun. It's cool. It's like a dance lady. But people don't know these behind the scenes stories of like you literally sacrificed. You haven't, I mean, outside of we have ailing sick parents, and a lot of our time has been spent going back and forth to Colorado. Our mom passed away a year ago and our dad's in a nursing home, and so like Alexia hasn't had a vacation since she started this business outside of coming to visit me and going home to take care of our parents. Like these are the things I think that like the perseverance it takes to make it and be successful as an entrepreneur, whether you know what the heck you're doing with a quote unquote business degree, or you're getting your business degree and your PhD in the midst of building the business. Like this is the actual stuff that happens and the sacrifice that happens to keep your teachers employed and to keep your doors open, to give your kids a place to dance and to be able to give them that opportunity. This is hard freaking work and a lot of sacrifice. So I mean, thank you for being vulnerable, and I'm kind of making you tell these stories because this is the good stuff. And this is, I feel like this is a real life that people need to hear. It's not just roses. I mean, a lot of it is roses. Like you love it, and a lot of it is roses, but you've also had to, I mean, how many people would have quit at that point?
Who am I to teach students and tell them to put everything they have into something if I'm not doing the same thing?
Yes.
Like ultimately, I always come from the place of being a teacher first.
Yeah, you do.
Teacher first, choreographer, dancer second, business owner third.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why the business wise, now I'm really still trying to learn more about being a more effective business owner and leader within business. But I think coming from the teacher first, like I'm telling you to be the best you can be, I need to do the same. So I'm going to be that example in my life all the time.
Yeah.
And do whatever it takes and to teach people like you can follow any single dream you have.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yes.
Anything you want to do, whether you think you can.
Yes.
If you literally don't ever give up on it.
Yes.
And if you have that kind of perseverance, and we learned that from our parents.
Yep.
That's what they did.
Yep.
We learned it, so we had that role model, and it was like we were always taught anything you want to do, you can do it. You want to be a trapeze artist in the circus, like go learn how to do it and do it. Yeah. So it's just then you just have to, it's being headstrong enough and putting in the work and not giving up.
What I wanted to talk about today was your ability to pivot very quickly into accommodating the situation. And while a lot of it was unknown, I remember we were talking on the phone and you were like, okay, I'm just going to take spring break early and do this week off. But do you think like I need to be planning for like one more week or like 6 months? And we're like on the phone and we're like, we don't freaking know. And we like still don't know. So I think a lot of small business owners sat down on the couch and just said, because I don't know, I'm just going to wait to hear. And you were like, okay, because I don't know, and if I wait to hear and it ends up being long-term, like I'm closing my doors. And I can't do that to these kids or to these teachers that I employ. Right? So you were like, okay, we're going to take a week and figure it out. So you pivoted really quick. So like, why did you pivot so fast on even the unknown of whether it was going to be for a week or now it's been like, I think we're going into our 6th week. Why did you move so fast when other people are still sitting and waiting to figure it out? And in the meantime, they're closing their businesses.
Because the 7 years of work, the 7 years of dancers that have been with me and families and kids that spend their life at the studio and being in the middle of competition season and having a recital that's coming up and just everything, there's in my mind, there's no option but to keep going. And then it was like, all right, let's figure out the best platform to be able to keep going.
But do you feel like you've worked the hardest you've ever worked in your life? Like, is this basically like how hard you worked when you opened the studio? like to
Yes,
make this work?
It was kind of like opening a new business.
Yeah.
And then also, it's as people are kind of shifting to it, I guess you have to. It's like I don't know, just like any other situation that maybe things change or hit hard. You have to decide, like, am I going to take the time and the effort to put this work in? Like, there's people that maybe don't check their email, or our email goes to their spam. So as we were sending out emails like, we're doing this and this and that, and here's the online classes, and we show up the first week and they're not in class, and we're going, oh my gosh, what happened? Why aren't they there? Then I literally got on my cell phone and started texting people individually. And anytime somebody, and I still did it today, like anytime in this last month that somebody misses class, I'm texting them and I'm like, hey, just so you know, class started. Here's the code in case you forgot the code. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, we got caught up in playing in the backyard and we forgot what time it was. Like, for me, going above and beyond to really make sure our customers feel important and feel, you know, like they're still a part of this from afar is really important to me. And I think, yes, it's been a lot more work than normal. And also actually teaching the classes is a lot more work than normal too. And you have to be way more high energy through a screen than you do in real life, because you don't have everyone else's energy around you. And then also just trying to be a good leader for all my teachers that are, I'm sure they're really concerned. I'm sure they're like, what's going on? Okay, we're teaching these classes for this month. Are we still going to be around next month?
Right.
The dancers are like, what's going on? And I've told everyone, even if we see other people close around us, we will literally do every single thing it takes to stay open. And that's it.
So a few things that Alexia's done, if you're listening and you're trying to adapt your business to the current state, because right now it's like April, what is it, 17th or 18th, and it's sounding like at minimum we'll still be in this situation for like a month, and then as things start to open, it will open with rules and restrictions. And so if you're kind of waiting around, you're still going to be waiting for a good month until you can even do something normal, and then probably another through the summer until it like goes normal. And so some things that Alexia's done to adapt, and in life and in business, your ability to adapt is critical, because no matter what, I feel like right when you're smooth sailing and you're like, I'm going to throw my feet up and put my hair up and like take a break, boom, something happens. Either you choose to move your studio and go bigger. So hello, I remember when I was like, are you sure you want to move? Like, you got it kind of good. And you're like, I'm getting bored and I want to go bigger. And then here you go. This challenge comes, or these external challenges that happen that are just not in your control. Like this whole freaking pandemic, okay? But your ability to adapt and just not resist. Like things are not happening to you. Like it's not personal. You didn't screw something up. It's not happening to you. Maybe it's happening for you. So the things that it pushed you to do, so you took your whole platform online and you're using Zoom. You did something really smart, which is Alexia kept her consistency on her schedule. So the days and the times and the teachers and everything that still is, which is going to make it really easy for the families to transition into that and then transition out of that. So Alexia took 1 week off, and then it was like, nope, we're just going back to normal with a different background. Like I'm going to be on a computer and maybe you see my couch in the back instead of being here together. And she's done some really neat things of doing seminars. What do you call them? Classes, seminars, classes, intensives on the weekend. And now she's able to use this online platform and bring teachers from Florida, Colorado, California, all together, and basically give her students even greater teachers from around the world to now come and teach her kids through this online platform, because they're used to now getting on Zoom to take their classes. So instead of being limited to whoever can just physically get here, or Alexia having the expense to fly somebody and get them to stay in a hotel and bring them, which Oh, okay. I do believe nothing will replace human interaction, but but if you can bring additional value and service to your business by using the online platforms in which way you may not have been able to before, I mean, why not? That's a win for the people teaching. That's a win for your students. So she's done that. And then they've done these really fun kind of connectivity. So this has nothing to do with dance. Like they did a talent show, they do a movie night. So I sat in on some of the talent show, and it was like these kids that are just so longing to be together and hug each other, and they can't right now. Well, at least they get to hang out on a Friday night, and probably their parents are like, thank you, Alexia, because we don't want to see them for an hour. So you're doing a lot of creative things even outside of what your job is as a dance teacher. And these are just a few ideas of what she has done to pivot her business. And so out of the things that you've done, when you go back to the studio and when you go back to normal, if we say, what are some of the things that you think you'll continue?
Okay, wait, can I go back on something really quick?
Yeah.
The pivoting, I just have to tell you where that comes from.
Huh.
So, comes from two things. Truly, as a dancer, you learn how to adapt to any situation at any given time in any single moment.
Like if the music turns off.
Yes, you keep going. If you're on stage and someone goes to the wrong formation, you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're waiting backstage and they call the wrong dance and then you're supposed to go on, you run on and you figure it out. Literally, from age 4, I've learned how to figure it out. So all my dancers and obviously all my teachers and everyone else, like that's kind of ingrained in us.
Mm-hmm.
So like dancers, you're like, well, it's not the same taking class from my garage, but I'm going to do it because whatever, I'm figuring it out. Like we're used to figuring it out. And the show goes on and you keep going no matter what. So there's that. And then also as a teacher, you have the grandest ideas of lesson plans every day, and it's all planned out and it's ready to go, and you have your week and your month and your year planned out, and it never works out the way you have it planned. Mm-hmm. Things always change. And being a teacher, I also learned like to change whatever I needed to on a dime. Like, oh, actually, we have someone coming in today from the fire department who's going to do a last minute assembly. So everybody change your schedule around. Okay, let's go. Oh, PE is going to be like today. Everything was like just be able to pivot on a dime. So those two things helped me get to the point where flexibility and changing as needed is totally, it doesn't scare me. That's totally fine. Okay, back to your question. What was your question again?
So of the things that you've implemented when everything goes back to normal, because I think the people doing the work right now in this whole evolution of digital and figuring out their business and companies having people work from home, I believe that this is all good stuff. Like you're going to stick to some of the things that are going on that are working well. So for you, what do you foresee that you'll continue?
So many things. And I definitely even had that conversation with Kelsey and Maggie, my two main teachers and admin people. I was like, this is so cool that we have all this stuff set up right now because we can keep going with it. So we have things like we have these for every single class. We have now we have a new separate site, our Google site that's specifically for our online classes, but kids can access, like we put videos up. The teachers put their formations after they teach them. We put their music up. We put homework up so they can go to their class and before practice. Or after classes during the week. They can practice. They can do assignments. Smart. They can. Okay, so there's that. We're keeping that for sure. The online thing. Anybody who now for here till the end of time who wants to take an Aspire Dance Studio class, any teacher can set their computer or iPad up at the front of the classroom, and any class can be taught through Zoom anytime now. Mm-hmm. So anyone can ever take, or let's say like the more I'd say towards our company dancers, like if they're on vacation or if they're homesick and they need to watch from home instead of dancing with us in real life and they don't want to miss a rehearsal, there we go. It's already set and it's ready to go. The workshops with the other teachers from different, Like now the TV that we have in the dance studio.
Yeah, you
we
have
can
one there.
have that teacher come in through Zoom and teach us.
Yeah.
We can have David, who does choreography for us and lives in Florida. He can do a rehearsal with us and clean a dance.
You guys,
Like
it's
there's so many cool things that I just was like, I never would have thought to do this before, or I never would have been like, we don't have the time to really do that, or we need to put our efforts somewhere else, or just literally never thought of things. All the fun online stuff we're doing, like weekly contests or little like interviews with teachers or read along for little kids, like all these things, these are definitely staying. Like all the fun little things that we get to do now, we can add all that to what we had already previously been doing. And I think it's just really cool because it's new opportunities.
I just love that so much great ideas and creativity and leveraging all of the things around you has turned into leveling up your experience for your customers from a parent standpoint, from a dancer standpoint. Like literally nothing bad has come out of this. And I do want to thank all of the Aspire dancers that have stuck with this. I mean, yeah, it's not normal. It can be frustrating. I've seen some little babies doing ballet in the kitchen while mom and dad are feeding the baby on the high chair and trying to cook dinner. And it's not easy for anyone, but sticking to it and just really supporting a small business. Like small businesses will not thrive if the consumer doesn't adapt to, and your consumer base for the most part has adapted really well, which I think is so cool.
They have been so amazing, and they have given us the best feedback. And even the ones that were maybe unsure about it and have tried it with their kids, like I'm just so grateful to every single person. And for all those kids that keep coming to class day in and day out, dancing in their bedroom or in their backyard or garage or living room or kitchen, like we're so grateful. And for all the teachers that are teaching from their living room on hard floors and getting shin splints and feeling sore every day, like it's amazing. It's a tribute to, again, going back to the vision creates your experience. And because my vision has always been one of community and nurturing, so I think that helps people stay involved, and hopefully that they feel our passion, like even over a screen. And we definitely, like we're so grateful for them and their support. And I just know when we get back, it's going to be even better and more amazing because of all these things that now we get to add to what we already had going. And I know even as we come back in, so this is another thing too, as we come back in, and it probably will be a slow reintegration, there's going to be levels of comfort that people are going to feel. Like some people are going to be like, we're fine, I'm sending my kid to dance. And some people are going to be like, I don't know if I want them to be around 15 people today. So we can also keep this going in that interim time until everybody feels comfortable to physically go back. But I'm just grateful that we're in an industry that has the opportunity to pivot in this way, because there are probably some industries that don't have this opportunity, and that it might be harder for them to do, or more impossible, or maybe just not even safe. Like if kids take gymnastics, that's probably hard to transfer at home. So we're lucky to be in a space and in a situation that we can, and also that's like now enriching people's lives while they're at home, so they're not just on their couch all day.
Totally. So this is something where I think the culture that you built over the last 7 years is really shining right now. So you can't wait until you're in trouble to figure out how to build a culture. Like it's too late. So all the things that you guys have done together as a team to build the culture that you've built over the last 7 years has allowed you to sustain getting through this and getting through it, honestly, like in a pretty cool, fun way. So as we wrap up, I just want to ask you, and you can answer either one of these questions, like advice to either somebody who's starting up their own small business, because I think coming out of this, a lot of people are going to be starting and kind of venturing out on their own, or advice to current business owners that are in this right now on the whole COVID situation. So like either one of those, what would you want to say?
Oh, I think I'd say the same advice to both because it's both kind of similar. And I'm going to basically go off of what Julie told me because it's what has been the most true for everything. Create a vision, have that always be your guiding principle. And I think just persevere and always go back to that vision to guide you through the hard times. Continue, just put the work in, have faith in yourself and what you can accomplish and what will, the dream that you will eventually be able to realize in actuality, and then just put the work in every day. And when it gets hard, because it will, and it has gotten hard so many times, it's been so difficult to get through a lot of hard times, but just I think finding that vision. And I'm also going to say having great people around you. If you are deciding to create your own business, choosing the right people to work for you, I think also makes all the difference in the world. And I've been very, 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 very picky on who I hire. And having the right team around you will also literally make all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I love this story, not just because you're my sister, but because you're the bomb. So you don't need a business degree to start a business. It sounds like you just need passion and a vision and a lot of grit and perseverance to build what you want. And anybody can do it.
But it doesn't hurt to have a sister who does have a business degree and can help you out very often.
There you go. All right, you guys, thank you for listening today. Thank you, Alexia. Congrats to the Aspire family. Can't wait to come and see your recital whenever it will be, but it is going to be. So it will be. So congrats on your success from the beginning and through now and for the future. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening. See you later. Bye-bye.